Hi friends, today we're looking at the anti-gravity GOAT case. I'm assuming GOAT stands for greatest of all time. You may have seen the following amazing video making the rounds. It's just sticking to stuff. How the hell do they do that? When I first got this case, I peeled off the protective plastic, and it was sticky and tacky and wonderful. The first thing I did was stick it to this wall right here. Say, what? That's incredible. That was actual footage of the first time I stuck it to the wall, but I thought in the back of my mind, what happens when I stick this in my pocket? Is it going to get all gunked up? But before I stuck it in my pocket, I showed it to my wife. Her reaction? Say, what? She thought it was incredible. But what about my pocket? What happens when I stick it in my pocket? I stuffed it in my pocket, and I headed off to work. When I went to pull it out of my pocket, another gadget of mine was stuck to it. That was half annoying and half amazing. I showed it to a coworker by sticking it to the company fridge. Guess what his reaction was? Say what? It was still kind of sticky, although it didn't seem quite as sticky as before. And over the next few days, it got even less sticky. Like it might stick for a bit, but then it would fall and fall and fall. It's still a little kind of sort of sticky. I've resorted to running it under water every so often, which seems to help either a little or a lot depending on the surface, and wouldn't you know it, licking it actually worked even better. Licking it, though it's never returned to anywhere close to its initial and amazing stickiness. Glass seems to work best, followed by flat, glossy surfaces. I just don't trust sticking it to something and walking away though. But I would trust it if it's got a little bit of support, like I was just kind of resting above my oven like this, stuff like that. And I will say that as a protective case, it's actually pretty good. I've dropped my phone wholesale just straight onto the ground at least a dozen times while testing this thing out, and it remains unscratched. So a good case for it as a case. I said that as though I was on like a local news station. It's taken the world by storm. It works fine with wireless chargers as well, which is a bonus. What I'll probably order a brand new case for is as a semi-permanent Sonos remote for the kitchen. Just take an old phone, stick the case to the wall, and never touch it again. Again, the initial stickiness is incredible. As you can see here, this is not the initial stickiness. The cost of this particular case is a pretty big issue though. With a list price of $40, even on sale, it's a spicy meatball, especially when similar anti-gravity cases can be found elsewhere for much, much cheaper. I may try one of these cheapo versions first for my Sonos remote idea. So tough sell all around if you just want to go around sticking it to anything and everything, but it could work great as a home automation mount or a Sonos mount that you're not going to touch. And it does work okay, provided you wash it thoroughly and often and lick it. Even after licking it repeatedly in public with people watching and wondering, I still wouldn't trust it completely. The only time I would trust it is if I peeled off the plastic, stuck it to something once and only once, and then just walked away. That's a pretty niche application, I understand, but worth looking into, if only for that initial stickiness, which is incredible.